27 years ago, it showed its evil face on TV screens across the country. And this past weekend, it's shown its face again, because every 27 years, it terrorizes Derry and eats its children. Come see it, and you'll float too.
Okay, so what about the opening scene? It's in the trailer, so no spoilers, but you pretty much know about this scene, even if you haven't seen either one of the movies. When Georgie has the boat, and it goes down the drain, and then Pennywise appears. Oh man, like, I was really excited. I was nervous and excited because it's such an iconic scene that you wonder how they're going to treat it. You know, are they going to sort of try to do the same thing? Are they going to do something way different? Wow. I'm not going to give away exactly what happened, but I was pleasantly surprised, and I thought it was definitely a good rendition of that scene. Overall, I thought the movie had really good pacing. I thought it was a good movie. There's some things that they changed that I wasn't the biggest fan of, but I'll talk about all that in the spoiler part of this review. So the movie starts out and you get an introduction of the characters, and they do a really good job of like summing up the characters quickly and sort of getting you used to the characters. They have some lines, and you know, they are all at school and they all like meet up and stuff as far as the main Losers Club kids. So you got Billy, which is the kid who lost his brother Georgie. You got Richie, who is the class clown. You got Stanley, who is the Jewish guy, and you got Eddie, who is like the hypochondriac guy that has, you know, asthma and stuff. So they're like the core group. And then they introduce Ben, which is the new kid, and he's an overweight kid that likes to go in the library. And of course, Beverly. Beverly in this movie, I thought she was really good. I thought she was almost as good, if not better, than the original Beverly. She had something about her that just drew you in, you know, and we had a really good job of expressing emotion on her face. The actress that plays her is Sophia Lillis, and she did a great job. She definitely set the bar pretty high as far as the sequel is concerned. As far as the other actors, you have Finn Wolfhard, who was in Stranger Things, playing Richie, and he is nothing like his character in Stranger Things. Thank God. He really does a good job of cracking jokes, cracking the tension, and he is part of the reason why this movie is a rated R movie, if that gives you any clue. He definitely makes some like dirty jokes or whatever, but he just lightens the mood, and he does a really good job of just keeping the mood up. Other important characters include Henry Bowers and his gang of bullies. These guys are really mean, and to the point to where it's like, what's wrong with them? You know, like there's the normal, oh, I'm gonna beat you up after school or whatever, but this guy has a knife and he legit cuts people. And it makes me wonder, you know, like, wow, what is wrong with this kid? Obviously, something's wrong with him. And you see his father, and you see kind of like he may be a victim of abuse himself, so that may contribute to what's going on with him. You see him hurt an animal, or try to hurt an animal, so you can tell he's going down the wrong path, you know. Okay, so what people are really going to want to know is, how is Pennywise? Without giving too much away, I think that Bill Skarsgård did a really good job of playing him, and there's some new elements that they introduced that's, you know, makes him different, of course. You can see from the trailer, he's a little more outright scary, you know. He doesn't really taunt the kids quite as much, but I thought he was really scary, and I thought he did a good job, especially towards the end of the movie when you really see more of his character. I thought he did a really great job. Now, of course, it's hard to, you know, have Tim Curry as your comparison, but you know, I thought he did good for what he had, so it was awesome with him. Also, the director Andy Muschietti, I thought he did pretty good, and I think it's not so much him because he's only directed one major movie, Mama. I think it's more the director of photography that really brought the cinematography to the next level. His name is Chon Hoon Chon, and he is a South Korean guy who's worked with the guy who did Old Boy and all those other movies like Handmaid's Tale and stuff like that. He is really, really good in this, and there's just some iconic shots in this that are really awesome. So those are some things that I really liked about the movie. All right, so what else about the movie? Is it scary? I would say yes, it is scary. Something that you want to consider is if you're afraid of clowns, obviously you may or may not want to watch this movie. Also, definitely keep in mind that this movie is modern. So if you want an exact copy of the original, you're not going to get it. Definitely the audiences have changed since 1990. So 27 years, right? I'll say that I thought the dynamic of the Losers Club was really great. I thought that they worked really well together, and all of them had different aspects of what was going on that you really see them bring together, and was able to make it seem believable that these are just a group of kids dealing with a bad situation. And just like in the original, the adults really aren't much help. In fact, they probably hurt. So that element's definitely still there. And the town of Derry still has this creepy vibe. You know, it still has the adults that aren't helpful or that are mean or evil, or has just the creepiness of the town. Other than that, I don't want to give too much else away. So now we're going to be entering the spoiler part of this review. Again, this is spoilers. If you don't want to hear any spoilers at all, you can turn it off now and watch my original 1990 It review right here if you want to see what the last one was like. Of course, that one has spoilers too, so maybe not. Okay. Are you still with me? All right. So, what are some good things and some bad things about how they changed the film? Good things. I would say the haunted house scene. I really liked how they brought more of the kids into the haunted house scene. It was Eddie, Richie, and Billy. And instead of, in the original, it was just Stanley, and it was like a standalone scare, just him type thing. And this one, they brought more kids in, and it was a lot more scary. They had like, it was almost like a haunted house. Like they had like different rooms, and they got separated, and you know, stuff happened. But I'll definitely say that was a part that I really enjoyed. I really liked that part a lot. The part where Georgie haunts Billy, and you know, he goes in the basement and he's like, "You'll float too," you know. It was really scary. I was like, ugh. Although I will say my one con with that scene is that they showed too much in the trailer, man. Like, they showed way too much. They showed too much of that scene in the trailer. So there are a few scenes where it would have been scarier if you didn't know it was coming. They showed, I think there was 2 or 3 scenes where they showed too much. And it really took away from the scariness factor. That's why this film, there was only a few spots that really truly scared me. The rest of them were just kind of like jump scares or whatever. Besides the overall creepiness of the film, that's scary as well. But, so that's definitely a con. They showed a little bit too much. That being said, though, they upped the scariness factor of Pennywise versus the original. So they may have shown a couple scares in the trailer, but there's still way more than there is in the original. Also, my biggest complaint with this movie, my biggest con, is Ben and Mike. Their characters, what they did with them. In the original, it's Mike who researches the town and is in the library a lot, and you know, tells the crew about Pennywise. And it's kind of crucial because in the sequel, he's the one that stays, and he becomes the librarian and brings everybody back. So they took away all that part of his character. They kind of left him with a semi-hollow character, you know. They switched up his character to where he's a homeschool kid who you know, works on a farm, and he slaughters lambs, and he like does all these things he doesn't necessarily want to do. I just don't think. Oh, also something about his character is that his mom and dad died in a fire, and that the only thing good about that is that it has a really good scary scene. So besides having a good scary scene, I think they really ripped out his character. So it's really unfortunate. I mean, he's the only person of color in the whole crew, so it's unfortunate. For Ben's character, they kept the aspect that he has a crush on Beverly and the love triangle there. They definitely kept that, but they made him the researcher and made him the one that is telling all the crew about, Pennywise and his origins and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's good for his character, but I'm not really sure how I feel about it. It makes me wonder, and the sequel, is he going to be the one to stay behind? I have no idea. Another change about this movie, which I think may or may not be better, I'm not really sure. Let me know what you think about this, is that Georgie, he didn't have a funeral. And he was just missing. The parents just thought he was missing still. And they gave up on him, but Billy did not give up on him. And he kept searching for him, looking for him. Versus in the original, he grieves him. And he is sad that he's dead, and all that kind of stuff. Which obviously they kind of took out that scene with the picture book, when it's bleeding and talking to him and stuff. Because I don't think it would actually fit with the new plot. So that was one thing that was changed that I hadn't mentioned yet. Also, Eddie's character's changed a little bit. He confronts his mom in this movie, and in the original, it doesn't happen until he's an adult, about how she gives him placebos and makes him weak and makes him try to take medicine that he doesn't even need and stuff like that. I think that will profoundly change his character, because in the original, he was sort of coward guy that was not really that likable in my opinion, when he's an adult. I think he is going to be a lot stronger as an adult now. So we'll have to see how those two things pan out. At the end, when all the kids come together, it's a little bit different because Beverly is floating, and they have the floating where it's supernatural, where they're really literally floating up in the air. And versus, I think the original, what the intention was that they were dead in the water, floating on water, although they didn't show it. I thought that was a cool change. I thought it was cool. I mean, I don't think everybody will like it, but so there's one difference there. Definitely at the end, when all the kids come together, it's not that they focus on it not being real. It's that they just focus on it. They're not afraid. They're not afraid of it. They're not afraid of it. And Pennywise loses his power and loses his will to eat them. Because they're not afraid, so they're not going to taste that good. And the most iconic difference in this movie is at the end, Pennywise has Billy, and he says, "Okay, I'll eat him if you guys just go away, and I'll do a trade. I'll leave you alone if I just get to have him." And Billy was so depressed about Georgie actually being dead that he's like, "Go ahead, guys. It's my fault you're down here and everything." And wow, that's a big difference. And I love how the kids are like, "No, we're not doing that," and they defeat him, or he slinks away. Another aspect of this film is the love triangle between Billy, Beverly, and Ben. Ben is the one that really loves Beverly. He writes her a pretty poem, and he is her secret admirer and everything. Billy, I think, is just attracted to her a little bit, so there's a little bit of a difference there. And Beverly really is going through a lot in this film. She's going through a sexual awakening. She's going through the change of life. The first one, the scene with all the blood, I think that was obviously symbolic of her getting her period for the first time and everything like that. And, the horrors of becoming a woman. And her dad in this film the actor is really good, although he plays a terrible character. You could tell they have a really bad relationship and he abuses her. And I really thought it really affected me how he was going to abuse her, and he like touched her hair, you know, and she gets so angry that she just cut off her hair. And she's like, I don't want to be pretty. Like, I don't want to deal with this, you know. That was really profound for me. Okay, so what can we expect from the sequel? After all, this is just part 1. And in the sequel, it's 27 years later, of course. So according to the film, that should be around 2016, so it's going to be modern times. That'll be something interesting, because in the original, obviously, it was 1990. So I think that's going to be a whole new element. Maybe they can involve some technology. Now, how will the characters develop? Well, first of all, we got Billy. He's going to become a writer, and he gets rid of his stutter eventually. Beverly's going to become a fashion designer, and she's going to have an abusive boyfriend. So that'll be, you know, it's interesting how things like that turn out. The characters of Ben and Mike, I have no idea. Is Ben going to stay? Is Mike going to stay in Derry? Are they both going to stay? I really don't know, you know, because Mike is a farmer boy, so maybe he'll stay on the farm. But Ben is the one that did all the research and was like in the library and really interested in stuff. So I have no idea. In the original sequel, he's, I believe, an architect who's like a ladies' man, you know. Stanley in the sequel, he has some intense scenes. So I kind of wonder how they're going to treat that. If they're going to have it go the same way as it went in the original, or if they're going to have it be different. Same with Eddie, you know. Will Eddie be the same? Will he, since he confronted his mother as a child, will he be the same cowardly person, or will he be more brave and everything? We'll have to wait and see. And I'm really interested to know, will they have the same It confrontation towards the end? Like, will it reveal its true nature? And will they play up the research of figuring out who it really is, or what it really is? Because in the original, that's where I thought it was lame, you know? The creature was lame, the research was lame, the setups were lame. Like, it was just lame all across the board. So, since they have such a low bar to clear, I think they're going to make a great sequel. Alright guys, that's my It movie review. Let me know what you think. Did you like the movie? Did you hate the movie? Was it scary enough for you? Did the changes, you know, make you mad? Let me know. And if you have any other video suggestions for me to do, let me know in the comments below. Also, if you want to see my It's 1990 movie review, click up here, because I did one of those. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye-bye for now.